Welcome again to the Masterclass Nutrition Workshop. In the fifth workshop, the fifth episode, we're going to go through what you call the fat burning axis. You have two sources of fuel available to your body for usage. Either sugar that is stored as glycogen or fats that is stored as triglycerides. If you want your body to start losing weight and burning fat at will, 24/7, 365 days a year, then you have to become what we call a fat burner. You have to change your body's main source of fuel from sugar, which is glucose, to fats, which is stored in your fat cells. So this will become a very easy graph that I'll use to demonstrate how your own digestive and metabolism works. The first circle here represents your liver and your muscle cells, and this is where your sugar is stored. Any kind of carbohydrates that you eat, be it your starchy carbohydrates that we call the complex carbs, or be it the simple carbohydrates that we call sugars, will be stored either in your liver or your muscle cells. The second storage here, or the second circle here, is your fat cells. Fat cells will always store any extra calories, any extra fuel that your body does not need, irrespective of what macronutrients that you eat. So this will be the storage or the leftovers from your carbohydrates, from your proteins, and from any fats. This guy here will represent our brain. And when we talk about our brain, we're talking about a part in your brain that you call your hypothalamus, which is the computer, the center of your body that controls everything that happens in your body. And then we have three hormones. If you want weight loss, effortless, long-term, permanent weight loss, then you have to understand how these three hormones work. And this is what we call your fat burning axis. The first hormone here is insulin. In simple terms, insulin is your fat storing hormone. Insulin and glucagon are inversely related hormones. If your insulin is high, then automatically it means your glucagon is down. Now remember, just for clarity, insulin is your fat storing hormone. The more insulin you have, the more fatter you become. Glucagon is the opposite of insulin. Glucagon is your fat burning hormone. Fat burning hormone. This is a fat burner. So you want to change that ratio, and then your leptin is the hormone that signals your hypothalamus, or the part of your brain, to tell you that you have enough stored sugar, or you have enough stored energy, or you have enough fat in your body for you to stop eating. And leptin is one of those that most of us don't really understand. I will simply use the analogy of going into a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant, the first thing that the waiter puts in front of you will always be a piece of bread or a piece of roll, and it will always be a warm bread, and they'll always, if it's a very well-trained waiter, he'll make sure that you have soft butter with it. What is the point of them doing that? Because the minute this happens, they are manipulating your hormones. When your blood, this automatically, this is your bread. When you sit there, it pushes your blood sugar level up. Your body doesn't know the difference between a slice of bread, be it either white or brown or muffin or any of those things. It only knows what the end product, what the byproduct of whatever you're putting in your mouth is. And that will always be glucose, which is sugar. So straight away, your body sees that and your brain panics. Your brain panics straight away if your blood sugar level keeps on going up. And remember, you do not become a diabetic in one instant. You become a diabetic over a long period of time of ingesting too much carbohydrates. But for the sake of drama here, I'll say if you eat the bread, straight away your blood sugar level is going to go up. You're going to become a diabetic. You're going to get into a coma, and you're going to die. Now, your brain does not want you to die. Your brain's main priority is to keep you alive. Your brain doesn't really care whether you're thin or fat. Survival is its key function. So what does your brain do? The brain talks to your pancreas. This one here is your pancreas. The function of your pancreas is to release these hormones depending on the signal that it gets. Your pancreas, because your sugar is up, it will release insulin. Insulin's main function at this point is to take as much sugar out of your bloodstream and either store it in your liver or muscle cells or store it in your fat cells. But because most of us eat too much carbohydrates, in most cases our liver and our muscle cells are already full. So what happens here straight away, it gets stored in your fat cells. Immediately this happens, your blood sugar level drops. And what is the second thing that you will do? You'd always order a drink. And in most cases, it's always a sugary drink. It can be a cappuccino, it can be a glass of wine, it can be a glass of juice, it can be a cold drink, whichever way. Then we go through the same circle again. When you have your drink, your blood sugar level shoots, your brain panics, talks to your insulin, this comes again, the same circle happens. Now, one thing that they never tell us, apart from insulin shuttling all the excess sugar, which is being stored as fat, insulin also locks all this here. You have no access. You cannot use the stored fat as your main source of fuel while you're working out. So you will end up, you can get fitter, you can get stronger. You've seen people that use exercise to try lose weight. They get fitter, they get stronger, but there's no difference in their body. Their body composition does not change. Or even if they become smaller, if they lose weight, they end up becoming a skinny fat person. Because when you do the assessment, straight away, they have lost muscle. So they become a smaller version of who they were, which means from a metabolic point of view, they're far much worse because they've lost muscle. And muscle is the only metabolically active tissue that helps you burn fat at rest. When this happens, your blood sugar level goes down, comes down. What does the waiter do? Of course, you order the main meal. Now, the point of the waiter giving you bread in the first instant is not because you're special, because they like you. It's because they want to manipulate your hormones. There's a big difference between hormonal hunger and normal hunger. The normal hunger is your body's craving for food. Hormonal hunger, in most cases, is craving for specific food. Now here, you're craving for micronutrients that we call sugar. Because the waiter has done this, automatically when you order, you're going to order a meal that is bigger than what you need. Straight away, this comes up because of the meal, your main meal here. Your blood sugar level goes up. Same thing happens. Your brain talks to your pancreas, this comes up, you get this, it drops. What happens? When you finish your meal, what does the waiter do? Of course, he places a dessert menu next to you. What is the dessert made of? The dessert is made of sugar. So this is your dessert here. Straight away, your blood sugar level goes up, insulin is released again. So you keep on going through this circle, it comes down here. In most cases after dessert, what do most people order? They'll always order. Most people, when this comes down, most people will always order either coffee, cappuccino, or any of those. And what does the coffee or cappuccino come with? It will always come with a side biscuit. Same thing. Now, why do they give you dessert? And why do they insist in most cases giving you a cappuccino? Of course, apart from you spending more money in the restaurant and them making more money, the important thing they're doing here is manipulating your hormones. Anytime you spike, your insulin goes up. Now remember, anytime you have a lot of insulin in your bloodstream, you are storing fat. So in an instant like this in a restaurant, you've stored fat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the only way to consistently regulate your hormones and start losing weight, we have to flatline this. I don't want your insulin going up. Now, how do we do that? By doing this, we need to be able to change this insulin-glucagon axis. If your insulin is up, then if your insulin is up, your glucagon is down. If your glucagon is up, your insulin is down. So how are we going to change this? And how does leptin come in? Now, leptin is a hormone that is released by your fat cells. to notify your hypothalamus or your brain that I don't need more energy, I don't need more food. But how comes we don't get leptin and we keep on eating more and we keep on getting fatter? Because the one hormone that blocks leptin is insulin. Anytime insulin is up, it will always block the communication between the tissue and the brain. So as long as this happens, so your insulin, your glucagon and leptin are very much connected. If one is down, the other one will be down. If one is up, the other one will be up. So to change you from being a sugar burner, if you are in this state, you are what I call a sugar burner. Here, you are what I call a sugar burner. Now to lose weight, I need to turn you here into a fat burner. How do we do that? And that is where the 7-day detox plan comes in. For the next 7 days, we're going to curtail or completely restrict the amount of carbohydrates that you are ingesting. And in doing that, automatically your body is going to be forced to start using your stored carbohydrates in your liver and in your muscle cells as your main source of fuel. Depending on your body type, depending on how much muscle you have, and depending on your level of activity and how long you've been dieting, the longer you've been dieting, the more your metabolism is broken. Then between 7 to 10 days, automatically this one here will be depleted. The minute this is depleted, your body will be forced to look for an alternative source of fuel. And where will that come from? Straight away, we turn you from being a sugar burner and you start burning fat from this. And in doing that, we have changed your hormones. We've pushed your insulin down and we have pushed your glucagon up, and which activates your leptin, which tells your mind, your brain, that talks to your body, enough. You move away from the table, you push away the plate, and of course no more second servings, because there's no need, there's no craving. And that's the methodology that we're going to use in terms of how this program is going to work. Let's go, and I'll see you in the next workshop, the 6th version, to show you how we're going to do what we call the carbohydrates cycling. See ya.